The human brain is a complex and fascinating organ, capable of processing a vast amount of information. One of the ways it does this is through our senses, which provide input about the world around us. In this video, we'll be discussing how the brain processes one particular sense. Before we begin, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to get notified of our new videos. 1. Balance. One important process is called balance. Balance allows the brain to compare different sensory information and make sure that it is all consistent. This process is important for helping us to understand the world around us. Balance is achieved by the brain constantly comparing different sensory information. If there is a discrepancy, the brain will try to figure out what is causing the discrepancy. This process is important for helping us to make sense of the world around us. For example, if we are in a dark room, our brain will rely more heavily on our proprioceptive system to keep us balanced. 2. Hearing. When we hear something, sound waves travel through the air and eventually reach our ears. These waves then cause the eardrum to vibrate, which in turn sets off a series of tiny bones in the middle ear. These bones transmit the vibrations to the cochlea, a fluid-filled structure in the inner ear. The cochlea contains thousands of tiny hair cells, which are stimulated by the vibrations. This stimulation causes electrical signals to be sent to the auditory nerve, which carries them to the brain. Once the electrical signals reach the brain, they are processed in various regions before we are consciously aware of them. For example, the signals are first sent to the thalamus, which acts as a sort of gatekeeper. From there, they are sent to the primary auditory cortex, which is responsible for processing sound. This is where we determine things like pitch and volume. 3. Taste. When we eat, our brain processes information about taste through a combination of input from our taste buds and our other senses. Taste buds are located on our tongue and send information to our brain about the taste of what we are eating or drinking. Our brain also processes information about texture, temperature, and smell, which all contribute to our experience of taste. When we eat, our brain uses all of this information to create a flavor that we perceive. This flavor is a combination of taste and smell, and it is what we experience when we eat or drink. Our brain is constantly processing information from our senses, and this includes information about taste. When we eat, our brain takes in information about the taste of what we are eating or drinking, as well as information about texture, temperature, and smell. All of this information is combined to create the flavor that we experience. 4. Smell. When we smell something, our brain is actually taking in several different pieces of information. It is detecting the chemicals in the air, estimating the distance of the source of the smell, and determining whether or not the smell is familiar. All of this information is then processed and stored in our memory so that we can recall it later. This process of grouping similar sensory information together is known as perceptual constancy. It allows us to make sense of the world around us by grouping together similar information. This is why, when we smell something, we can often identify it even if we can't see it. 5. Movement. The brain processes sensory information related to movement in a variety of ways. For example, the brain may use proprioception, which is the sense of where our limbs are in space, to help us coordinate our movement. The brain may also use visual information to guide our movement, or information from our vestibular system, which helps us maintain balance, to help us move safely and efficiently. 6. Touch. Touch is an important part of our lives and it is essential for survival. The sense of touch allows us to interact with our environment, to gather information, and to navigate our surroundings. The somatosensory system is constantly active, even when we are not consciously aware of it, and it is essential for the brain to process information from the receptors to help us make sense of our surroundings and to keep us safe. 7. Sight. The eye is the organ of sight. It is composed of the eyeball, optic nerve, and associated muscles. The eyeball is a hollow globe filled with fluids that maintain its shape. The front of the eyeball is covered by a transparent membrane, the cornea, which protects the eye and helps to focus light. Light rays enter the eye through the pupil, a small opening in the center of the cornea. The pupil size is adjustable, constricting or dilating in order to control the amount of light that enters the eye. The light rays are then focused by the lens, another transparent structure within the eyeball, onto the retina. The retina is a thin layer of tissue at the back of the eye that contains photoreceptor cells. These cells are sensitive to light and convert the light into electrical signals. The electrical signals are then transmitted via the optic nerve to the brain where they are interpreted as images. The brain processes the images and uses them to form our perceptions of the world around us. That's all for today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to hear more videos from our channel, subscribe and make sure to turn on the bell icon.